plug in with the Unchargeables. You might notice that we've changed our name from Spoony Space. Due to trademark reasons, we have had to change our name, but I promise that is not all affecting anything else in the community. Nothing else changes except our name. We are still all suffering losing spoons, but we just have changed the name. We are a weekly web-based show made by chronically ill people for chronically ill people. If this is your first time joining us, my name is Lois. I am 41. I am today's host. I am an admin at the Unchargeables website, formerly known as Spoonies for Life. I have several panelists with me today. We're going to be talking about fibro, so I'm going to go ahead and let them introduce yourselves. Go ahead, Natalie.
Hello, my name is Natalie, and I have Hashimoto's and fibromyalgia. That's why I'm also on today. I am the founder of the Unchargeables, formerly known as Spoonies for Life. This name change is all fairly new, but like Lois said, nothing's going to change in the community. It's just the branding and the name. And I'm 33 years old, single mother, living on Lanzarote, Canary Islands. And yeah, I'll get into what helps for my fibromyalgia later. So Mark, up to you.
Hello, I'm Mark. I'm also one of the admins, and I'm also a cannabis scholar. I'm 32 years old. I have fibromyalgia. I'm in Brunswick, Maine, and we'll get into more here in just a few minutes. Kathy, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Catherine, and I'm 54 years old, and I'm an empty nester. I have fibromyalgia, and we will definitely talk about the things that help. And in the meantime, I'll pass this off to Dina.
Hello, I'm Dina. I am 37. I have a couple of fur babies, no children of my own. And I am an unemployed counselor due to medical reasons. And I have Ehlers-Danlos and some other things, and am determining fibromyalgia, which seems very highly likely. And we will get into all of that later as well when we talk about ways to help with doctors and those things, which Catherine and Natalie and Lois are very adept with. Now we'll go back to Lois.
All righty, thank you all very much. Okay, so fibromyalgia. I thought first what I would do is start with what exactly fibromyalgia is. I have to have my paper in front of me because I know what it is for me, but I want to give you guys the actual medical definition. This is from the National Fibromyalgia Association website. It is a disease that is believed to attack the nervous system. It is marked by chronic widespread pain, which means you have pain everywhere in your body. Literally nowhere is exempt from pain. It can also affect your joints. You can have joint pain as well. So it can be difficult to diagnose. It also says it's characterized by stiffness, especially in the morning, fatigue, sleep problems, headaches, restless leg syndrome, dizziness, anxiety, and depression, which I think partially is because we find that people don't believe us, and they don't believe we're in pain, and they don't believe that we're sick. And I mean, I look pretty good. I don't look like a sick person, so I must not be sick, right? So yeah, I think that's part of that. Also, they say it's prolonged pain will wreak havoc on your nervous system. It also causes your perception of pain to change, which is why we can experience pain where nothing is causing it, or where something as simple as the wind blowing across your skin hurts. Talking about that kind of a thing. To get diagnosed with it, the diagnosing part is very difficult. They, in the past, have used I think all of us who've had it longer than 2000, since 2010, they used the old trigger point where they push on the points on your body. They're trying to come away from that now. And they're looking more at the history and what you tell, and also by ruling out everything else. So they'll do blood work, x-rays, and anything they can think of to make sure you don't have some other kind of disease that looks like fibromyalgia. However, I'm an RN, and as an RN, I have to do extra education things, and I just did a recent one about fibromyalgia, and they have come a long way in the research, and they actually may soon have a test for fibromyalgia that will firmly diagnose it. It has to do with cytokines. I'm not going to go into what those are. Go ahead and look that up. But that's very exciting news for the fibro community. Let's see. Treatments. The biggest factor for treatment is really and truly you have to adapt your lifestyle. There are really no real good medications for fibromyalgia. There is 3 approved for fibro. There is Lyrica, Cymbalta, and Savella. They're the only ones that are specifically for fibro. They don't work a whole lot for a lot of people, or work well with people, or people can't take them because they're on a different medication that doesn't work with it. So that's where lifestyle adaptation comes into play. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more later. The other thing, sleep. Sleep is so important for us because lack of it will flare you. I think we all, if you've had it long enough, you've learned real quick that, you know, pushing yourself past that sleep point puts you right into a flare the next day. However, at the same time, if you're like me, you get stiff at night and have to change positions every hour. It hurts, it wakes you up. So you have interrupted sleep all night. So it's really hard to get that sleep in. I know Mark is going to talk a little bit about how to get yourself sleep trained. Sleep training really is important. I know our doctors tell us it and we don't want to hear it, but it really does help. So Mark will be talking about that. The next thing is pain, getting your pain under control. That's a tough one. We have so many doctors in this country that are afraid to prescribe anything for us. If you can, I have found tramadol works very well. If you get a doctor that will prescribe you tramadol. I don't like the opiates, but there are a group of people with this that it's the only thing that works. And I hope for all those people you're able to find a doctor to help you. Alternative therapies. There are all kinds of alternative therapies. There is trigger point massage. If you decide to go out and try massage, make sure you find a therapist that knows about fibromyalgia, because otherwise they're going to massage you and make you hurt worse. So find someone that knows fibro, find someone that knows trigger point. It's wonderful. It does help. If you live in an area where Groupon works, Groupon frequently has massages to people for like 25, 30 bucks. So if money is an issue, look for that. Acupuncture. I have used acupuncture and I can tell you it does work. And when I can afford it, I go get it. It is well worth it. It will give me a week or two of no pain and no muscle cramping. It's wonderful. Reiki, I've also done Reiki, yoga, physical therapy, biofeedback, aromatherapy, chiropractors, and nutritional supplements. All of this together is really important in helping you to keep your fibro under control. And the most important thing, I think, is having doctors that support and believe you, family that supports and believe you, friends that support and believe you. If people in your life are not supporting you and not believing you, it's time to get rid of them or keep them at bay. You got to keep your stress under control to help keep everything else under control. So that's what I have to say about that. I'm going to go ahead and pass it to Natalie so she can share some of the things that she has that help her out.
Yes, well, I have had fibromyalgia for at least since I was 14. That's what I can remember. I remember sitting in high school in class, and my arms just started hurting so much that I fell out of my chair when I was sitting down. I got my diagnosis when I was like, I think about 27. And I basically bullied my doctor into putting it into my file. But there it is, it's in my file. So you really have to advocate for yourself to make sure, if you really think you have that and other things have been tested and it's not that, or not all the symptoms match, that it does get put into your file. So I have it in my file. And even way before I was diagnosed, I was working with a physical therapist, and he already told me, I know for sure you have fibromyalgia, so I'm going to treat you as if you're, recovering from fibromyalgia. So he started with, like, my joints pop out, so I have to go and have them put back in, especially discs in my back and in my neck. So I went and did that. When I was really bad, I went every 6 days. I had to go every 6 days because otherwise I was hurting so much in my pelvis, because my pelvis kind of goes like this when it's supposed to go like that, or it gets stuck like that. So yeah, that needed to be put back because otherwise I couldn't walk. So I did that every 6 days. And from there, I started doing slow exercises just with my own body. My physical therapist told me, just hold your hands like this for 10 seconds, because I couldn't do that. So that's what I did 3 times per day, hold my hands up for 10 seconds. And, it doesn't sound like physical activity, but when you're hurting that much, it really is. So I went from 10 seconds to 30 seconds. And when I could do the 30 seconds easily, I did little bottles of water, and I would fill it with a little bit and then hold it like that. And every time you can fill it a little bit more. So you're just holding like 50 grams or something ridiculously low like that. But that's how I build up from not being able to walk to, getting my strength back. At some point, I went to my physical therapist every 2 weeks. And later on, I started with, it was called hydrotherapy. So it's in warm water. It's like 30 degrees water. And you go in and you're with a group and you kind of just float, and the other person moves your body. So you're completely relaxed with this incense and, music, and you're floating. You have a floater in your neck and you have a floater on your knees. And it's 20 minutes of the other person moving you around in the water. And it didn't hurt. It was really nice. And then you switch. So then you're the person walking in the water and you're just slowly like moving the legs. You're holding someone by the legs, so they're kind of swirling in the water, like your whole body is moving, but you're completely relaxed. So you're not actively using your muscles. Well, that one was I think that one was the best I have done for my fibromyalgia. Because when I came out of the pool, I was exhausted and I had to sleep for like 2 hours. And then I had a muscle ache. Like, how can I have a muscle ache by not doing anything? So those were like the first 10 times, because, everything's slow in your rehabilitation to a better life when you have fibromyalgia. But after like 10, 15 times, it was just really pleasant. I didn't have the muscle aches anymore. I had to rest when I came back for like half an hour, but not sleep for 2 hours. And that really built up my core strength, from where I could go on to like having walks outside and, go on to the more normal stuff that when people tell you now go and exercise, you're like, how? I can't move. So yeah, that's how I started with, you know, hardly being able to move to getting my strength back so I could go for like 20-30 minute walks. So yeah, that's the greatest tip I can give. And I want to hear from Kathy.
Hi. I can doubly say what Natalie said about the hydrotherapy. I think the warm water therapy is the funnest, most relaxing exercising I have ever done in my life. And it was very instrumental in me regaining the strength in my hips and lower back so that way I could walk from the car into the house or go grocery shopping and not have to use a scooter and things like that. Couple of other things that I like to do is I like crafting. That gets my mind off of the pain and the fatigue, to kind of keep my brain sharp, to kind of try to keep the fibro fog at bay. I like doing mind games like Minesweeper and Sudoku and things like that, that just keeps my head thinking and not anxiety or anything like that. I find it very relaxing. And the last thing I'd like to share that helps me out a lot is I have animals, and I just adore my animals, and they are so therapeutic for me. I have a dog and 2 cats, so I get entertained from all walks of life in the animal kingdom. And they're just really, really therapeutic for me, and I know they are very therapeutic for a lot of other people. So those are the things that help me out a lot. We could all go into the medications and things like that, but everybody's different. Everybody's body responds differently to different medications. So we're trying to give you alternative therapies and, things that have worked for us that you might look into that you could use as well. So that's what I have to share. I'm going to pass it on to Mark now.
Thank you, Kathy. So, like Lois was saying about sleep, sleep training, it's called the circadian rhythm, or actually that's what your sleep pattern is supposed to be called. And it is very important, but it's complicated and simple at the same time. It's going to bed at roughly the same time, give or take an hour or so, and then you wake up around the same time every day. Don't, sleep until noon on the weekends and then, work week or whatever, get up at 5 a.m., it throws it off. Consistency with your sleep pattern will reduce fatigue. So it's about lifestyle changes. Like Lois was telling us, you have to adapt. For me, once I get into a good sleep pattern, it helps me out a lot. I'm in less pain overall, and my fatigue is better. Not as many cups of coffee needed in the morning. So life happens, you get out of whack, it's going to happen, or special events or something. With fibromyalgia, you're going to take a little bit longer to recover than another 30-year-old that doesn't have any issues. Where they may get their circadian rhythm back in a couple of days, it may take you a week. Bear through it, get back into it, and you'll start to see improvement. Other things that have helped me personally is having animal companions. And I've had them, for quite a while. We have a cat. I recently lost my dog. And so we've replaced it. We weren't ready for another dog. And we replaced it with 2 ferrets and then quickly added a third. They're just very, bundles of cuteness and joy. So having that helps. Like Kathy was mentioning, also keeping your mind engaged. I find reading and fiction and nonfiction alike, and get that academic or intellectual stimulation helps out a lot. And then one of the last things I want to talk about as far as what helps, or at least what helps for me, is cannabis. I went a very long time with having fibromyalgia, about 7 years, with various medications that didn't work that I won't get into. And I was miserable, overweight, and had to use a cane to get around. I don't use a cane anymore, lost about 100 pounds, and I only use cannabis. I smoke it, I use it topically, I make medibles, and I also eat it as a nutritional supplement. All of those things, cannabis has great potential to help with. For me, it dramatically reduced my pain and allowed me to train myself to move better, slowly at first, by taking a few steps after medicating on a treadmill and trying to do it with my hands right above the rest, the treadmill's bar, and try to do it just a few steps without a cane. And so then it became a few minutes up until now, where I'm training myself in the seconds to minutes in running. Slow process, small steps, and persistence is what makes the difference. And so I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Dina.
Thank you, Mark. I'm going to go ahead and also validate what Mark said. Well, pretty much everything Mark said. So in order, being a counselor, sleep training is so very important. Fibromyalgia or not. When I was actively counseling, especially when I was counseling teenagers, oh my gosh, and they were like not doing well in school and complaining about this, that, or my older adults who had disabilities. I worked in the home with persons who had significant mental illness and physical disability that prevented them from being able to get to a clinic. So our population, perhaps, some of our population anyway, may fit this bill. And they would have very bad sleep cycles. And tell them, you have to get into a distinct pattern, like Mark was saying, and you have to maintain it. And it takes 30 days to get into any habit. Any habit. It takes 30 days. It just does. That's how our brain works. It takes that long. Circadian rhythms, diurnal rhythms, that's your daily rhythm, are very important. And everybody's are a little different. It might not be, the same. One person's maybe 8 to whatever. It doesn't matter what time you set it for, just set it. It will help. Again, cannabis, if legal in your state, can be very, very helpful. It's legal where Mark lives. It's legal where I live. I'm allergic to all the opiates. My pain management doctor knows that I'm allergic to all the opiates and is like, okay, here's tramadol. Have your MMJ card. I can't help you. I'm sorry, I can't help you. But I can't. Aside from injections, which hopefully may help soon, he can't do much for me. What I do to manage what is likely fibro pain in my arms, like Natalie said, the burning and the unbearable burning and all of that, is a lot of mind stuff. I do a lot of meditation and a lot of relaxation techniques. I do a lot of things to distract myself from it. Because medication-wise, there's not a lot of stuff that's worked yet. Cannabis works well, but the cannabis that I've had also tends to knock me out. So I can't do that during the day. I probably need to talk to Mark to find something that'll work during the day that doesn't knock me out. But in the meantime, I do things to distract me from it. And that's the best thing. And as Mark said, finding things that help you work with the intellectual aspect. I have a master's degree and haven't been using it, and that was making me really depressed. And I was getting more and more depressed, and I couldn't sleep last night. And I wound up reading foreignpolicy.com, of all things. My degree is in psychology, folks. I'm a therapist. But I found the article, the first one, fascinating, and the second one hilarious. And it felt really, really good to engage my brain. Whatever helps you think, at whatever level that is a good thing. And now I'll hand it back to Lois.
Thank you, everyone, very much. As you can see, there's a lot of really helpful things out there that you can do for your fibro. We've got just a couple minutes left. One of the things I wanted to go, excuse me, into detail a little bit more about is lifestyle adaptation. We hear that, but what does that exactly mean? It's going to mean something a little bit different for everyone, but for myself and for my husband, it meant a lot. We were, I was an ER nurse, we cycled, we went out hiking, playing basketball, like everything we did was active and outside and physical. And as we all know, fibro kind of halts all of that. And so how do you adapt your life to your fibro without losing your life to the fibro? So what that is it means searching for things that you can do, searching for things that do help, and never giving up. You're going to hear, you can ask, and probably everybody, we've all probably gone through at least 5 doctors, if not more, to get to one that would listen. We've all had years of people telling us it was all in our heads. We've all had that. So I guess what I am saying is you can make your life fit. You can make fibro work and have a happy life. It means slowing down. It means pacing yourself. It means you have to have a sleep schedule. It means maybe there's certain foods that flare you. It means stress flares you, so you got to control your stress a little better. It means a lot of things, and it's overwhelming, especially in the beginning. It's so overwhelming. But I guess, you know, the whole point of our show, the whole point of our community, and the whole point of all of this is that we want you to know, don't give up. We, 5 of us right here in front of you, are total proof that you can find happiness, you can find relief, and you can find a good life. So with that, I'm going to ask, does anyone have anything else to say? No, we're all good? Okay. Well, on that note, I want to say thank you to everyone who joins us each week, who joins us on our community, like our Facebook page, like our YouTube, subscribe, join us each week. Hey, let us know if there's something you want us to talk about or something you want us to research or look into. We'd be more than happy to do that. Send us a message, leave us a comment, however you want to get near us. We also have a web shop where you can buy wonderful Unchargeables supplies. Go check it out. We will see you next week. Bye-bye.